Well, let's go to Queensland now, and joining us is the National Senator Matt Canavan. Matt, good morning. Are you going to Beef Week? You're not there yet? You're heading there a little later on.
I have been to Beef Week and I'm about to head there later on. I've just got the kids' school duties today as well, so juggling all that. I'm just always astounded by what my wife does. It's amazing.
Brilliant. Now the opposition leader is there. Peter Dutton is there, and he was talking this morning and weighing into this incident involving China and Australia in the Yellow Sea. Now, in your view, what does the Prime Minister Anthony Albanese need to do here? Because there has been a lot of criticism over what he did last time regarding that sonar ping that he wasn't raised with Xi Jinping. So is this something that needs to be addressed this time around?
Well, I think Peter's exactly right. Clearly, Australia should express its upsetness here about this incident. This is not the way nations should be treating each other, especially nations that are purportedly trying to get together on a more friendly platform. I think the problem here is that the Prime Minister's put himself in a vulnerable position relative to China because he has tied some of his political success to the continuing improvement of the Chinese relationship. He has taken every opportunity to politicise the Australian-China relationship, to try and somehow put blame on the former Australian government for the state of the relationship. And therefore, he's in a vulnerable position every time China acts like this because he hasn't, therefore, been able to live up to the political rhetoric he's trying to sustain. I think the best thing the Labor Party could do would be to de-politicise our foreign relations. Stop trying to use the relationships we have with other countries as a political battering ram to beat your domestic opponents. That's not how we should approach our foreign affairs. We should do so in the nation's interest. We should recognise that countries like China cannot always be trusted, and it's not always a domestic government's fault when something like this happens.
See, and you saw Richard Marles, give an interview last night, the Defence Minister, tough words, etc., etc. That always tends to happen, but China doesn't care. It just goes ahead and carries on with its ways. Now, Malcolm Davis from ASPI was on the program a little earlier on and said, well, perhaps we should go a little further than words this time. Maybe we should pull back on exports, that kind of thing. Would you go there?
Look, I don't think we necessarily need to do that in response to one incident. But what is absolutely clear is that... this and the other one earlier this year. But, I've got no problem making money out of China, selling them goods. Yeah. What I do think, though, is that we should be seeking to diversify those trade relationships. We should be actively trying to support steel manufacturing, for example, in other countries, so that we don't end up with a situation or leave the situation as it is, where 80% of our iron ore goes to China. We should be trying to find other markets there and actively develop that. I don't think we're quite doing enough on that front. And again, I think the Albanese government came to power thinking, here's an easy win. We can reinvest in the China relationship because they're open to it. They want to turn a new page, and they've probably taken their eye off the ball of other relationships in our region that are probably more important to invest in with that goal of diversifying in mind.
OK, let's just finish in your region now, Matt, and just the story in the Courier Mail this morning. The state government has spent about $111 million buying properties and doing technical studies for the pioneer Burdekin pumped hydro project. It's got no business case and actually very little support. What do you make of this?
Well, it's not surprising. It is absolutely an astounding waste of taxpayers' money. The government selected this site, selected a $12 billion investment based on a Google Maps desktop study done by the ANU. And I'm not making that up. Not a single official had visited that area. I went up there very soon, weeks after the announcement, and the locals were astounded. They'd had no geotechnical assessment done. Nobody had walked the site to see if this was suitable, apart from viewing satellite images from a Google Maps type application. It is absolutely ridiculous, and it's no wonder here now that there are major questions being asked about whether this is viable and why, where you've already spent hundreds of millions of taxpayers' money before doing those basic assessments, and it looks like the whole project will probably be kiboshed after the election. They're just waiting for that. They're not going to do that before the election because it would be too embarrassing for them.
Matt Canavan, good to see you. Hope you get a good steak this week, as always. We'll talk to you soon.